investigating why Yuan was selected for the Olympics. The Tokyo 2020 Olympics were held in 2021 due to COVID. The Chinese Swimming Association Diving Committee, the head of diving team China Zhou Jihong, and coaching staff decide who goes to the Olympics. Let's look at the selection process for Tokyo 2020. I couldn't find an official source clearly laying out the rules, so this is based on crumbs and pure speculation. There are comments later saying the selection process was never released to the public. That is most likely true. Here's a post under a thread that thoroughly analyzed the situation. People are saying Yuan placed 4th in the Olympic trials. If this is true, why can he go to the Olympics? Later it'll be mentioned that he did win the Diving Star series, so there's that. Yuan's inclusion in the roster for the men's individual 10-meter platform event aligns with the diving team's selection criteria for the Tokyo Olympics. However, it is possible that these criteria underwent a recent modification. It seems this person has a clearer idea of the criteria. The pair failed to win the gold medal in the synchronized 10 meters event due to errors committed by Yuan. I've seen people say Yuan made the mistake. Chen Eisen made the mistake. After rewatching the competition, possibly both of them missed at the same time in round 4, though Yuan definitely missed more. The assertion that the men's synchronized 10-meter platform was originally intended to feature a partnership between Yang Jian and Chen Eisen is incorrect. Agree. What are the selection rules for individual events at the upcoming Tokyo Olympics? The current meet in Shijiazhuang, along with the 2 subsequent national diving championships scheduled for January and May of next year, will serve as the definitive basis for Olympic selection. We will take the 2 best results out of these 3 competitions. These are the aforementioned 3 competitions. The top 4 athletes based on overall scores will undergo a comprehensive final assessment. This is the key. There are 3 Olympic trial stops, and the best 2 scores count. The top 4 divers undergo a comprehensive assessment which will determine the final lineup. Since the media did not disclose the full detailed selection criteria, the process remains a matter known only to insiders at the swimming center. The results for the men's individual 10-meter platform event across the 3 selection trials. Based on the previously mentioned rules, the spots for the men's individual 10-meter platform event will be chosen from among Yang Jian, Lian Junjie, Chen Eisen, and Yuan. Yang Jian is undoubtedly guaranteed one of the spots. Yeah, he's the frontrunner. Consequently, the remaining spot must be filled by one of the other 3 athletes. A bit of background on these divers. Yuan was 26 in 2021 and had won bronze in 3-meter synchro, gold in 3-meter individual in Rio. Chen Eisen was also 26 and had won gold in both the 10-meter synchro and individual in Rio. Yang Jian was 27 and had won gold in the World Championships in 10-meter. Lian Junjie would have been 20 during the Olympics. He's the least experienced diver here. At this time, he's never competed in the 10-meter event in the World Championships. He's only competed in the mixed 10-meter synchro for the World Championships in 2017 and 2019. I'm going to focus on Lian Junjie more since he's my favorite diver. Why not choose Lian Junjie, who won 1 gold, 2 silver? The difficulty level of Lian Junjie's dive list is insufficiently competitive. The distribution of difficulty in Lian Junjie's dive list is somewhat unconventional. Out of his 6 dives, 3 are low difficulty dives with a rating of 3.4 or lower. The overall difficulty of the entire list is propped up almost entirely by the 3.7 DD 109C and the exceptionally difficult for 09C with a DD of 4.1. That's definitely one reason why they dropped Lian Junjie. Low difficulty right skewed distribution. Also, there are multiple clips where he plainly states they didn't pick him because of his lack of experience and low difficulty.
可惜最后时刻，因为409C 的稳定性和缺乏大赛经验，遗憾落选东京奥运阵容。
Lian Junjie's dad post Paris 2024.
因为当时他没有207B 和626B、525B 这几个标配的动作，所以说当时的竞争力不大。教练为了把他的竞争力提上去，让他上了一个世界上最大的难度409C。这个动作他有咬牙把它拿下来了，而且在几次选拔赛中表现都非常不错。其中有一次拿了满分123分，还有2次都拿了110以上的分数。 所以说409B 拿下来以后，把那个难度又提上去了，就看到了希望了。他这么卖力去把这个动作拿下来，他就不想到能够去东京参加奥运会了。但是后来，在一次队里的那个测试赛里面，跳闸了这个动作。队里有一种看法，用409一个超难度动作去搏这个10米台的单人，有点冒险。加上他单人参加国际比赛经验很少，所以就没有把他选上。
I have a conspiracy. They set the selection cutoff as top 4 because they already knew they wanted Cao Yuan over Lian Junjie. Why not Chen Eisen? I consider Chen Eisen to be the most regrettable case. At 25, he's at the prime age for diving. I've seen some speculation that Chen Eisen's injuries made it difficult for him to execute arm stand dives, which is why he was assigned solely to the synchronized event. Yeah, now that I think about it, it's pretty sad Chen Eisen didn't get the individual spot, though he does already have an Olympic gold in that event. The handstand issue did affect Yang Hao in the future in the 2024 Olympics. That was quite a long post. This is probably the longest post we'll be looking at. The rest will be shorter. A comment under this post says in synchronized diving, at least one partner is required to also compete in the individual event. This is wrong. This isn't a rule. The rest of the comments under this post, in reality, the rules for the 2019 World Championships qualifiers were this: the top 2 in synchronized events and the top 4 in individual events, with final selections based on comprehensive consideration. Well, my conspiracy theory just fell apart. There indeed is a problem with Chen Eisen's Group 6 dive. In all of this year's competitions, the effective scores for it have hovered between just 7 to 7.5. The second post under this thread, same sentiments. As for Lian Junjie, CCTV News commentators have already explained that he missed out on the Olympics due to issues with the difficulty level of his Group 5 dives. Here's this article I didn't feel like reading. The first post already laid it out quite clear. Bits from this article reinforce the idea that the final Olympic spots are decided from team meetings. There's no published date for this article, but we can see that it was written soon after the Shanghai stop of the 2021 National Diving Championships qualifier. For individual events, we will take the best results from 2 out of the 3 qualifying meets, and then conduct a comprehensive assessment of the top 4 finishers to select Sioux athletes. Take a look at this line. Zhou Jiheng, we have just finished competing. Determining the final roster will likely require a series of meetings and further assessments. We can conclude the selection process is a comprehensive one involving many elements. Basically, they pick whoever the they want. Here's what we have so far for why Cao Yuan was selected for the Olympics. If they were going to drop Lian Junjie anyways for these reasons, what the hell did he score 610 points for? At this point, he's about to off himself. Here's a post with some more technical details. The OP simplified it in a reply. Skip ahead for that. Here's the shortened version of the post. Sue professional, sprayers can't understand. OP replied, my main intention was simply to clarify the situation, though it seems I may have gone into a bit too much detail. Cao Yuan did win the gold medal at the Olympic test event held in March. This is talking about the 2021 China Diving Star Series. More comments under the post. The very reason Cao Yuan has been constantly switching back and forth between the 10-meter platform and the 3-meter springboard is simply that there is no one else available to step up and fill the void. Many claim that Zhou Jiheng shows favoritism toward Cao Yuan. Yeah, what reason would Zhou Jiheng possibly have not to favor him? During the Rio Olympic cycle, when there was a dearth of talent in the 3-meter springboard event, Cao Yuan switched disciplines to train for it. During the Tokyo cycle, when the 10-meter platform squad faced a talent shortage, Cao Yuan was required to compete in 3 separate events at the World Championships. So Cao Yuan was originally on platform, then switched to springboard for Rio, then switched back to platform again for Tokyo based on the diving team's needs. He goes wherever he's needed basically. They ring him around like a rag doll. It definitely came as a shock to me to see him on 10-meter. I've only seen him on 3-meter. So I shared the same feeling a few people had that he waltzed into the 10-meter and took Lian Junjie's spot. The World Championships, where he competed 3 separate events at, was the 2019 FINA World Aquatics Championships in Gwangju, South Korea. Cao Yuan placed 4th in the individual selection trials. So what then was the point of holding those trials in the first place? Agree, Lian Junjae getting 2nd in the Olympic trials, but still getting dropped is really messed up. Even though, yeah, according to the diving team's rules, they can do that, but it's messed up. I understand why they went with Cao Yuan, it's just unfortunate. In the Diving Star Series held in March, Cao Yuan was the champion, scoring 557 points, a total higher than the 532 points Yang Jian scored to win in May, and significantly higher than the 526 points Lian Junjae earned that same month. Sprayers don't need to understand. Whatever you say, they'll say it's because he's from Beijing, special connections, lost the gold, stole a teammate's gold medal, didn't let Yang Jian do the synchronized event and got the gold. The judges scored him too low. Cao Yuan's score was too high. Yang Jian's difficulty was higher, so he deserved the gold. Even without Cao Yuan, it would have been gold. Cao Yuan let down the athletes he shoved out. Cao Yuan already has gold, so Yang Jian should have had it. More on the Beijing special connections thing later. I think whoever had the best performance that day earns the gold. Unfortunately, luck does matter. If your body's condition lines up with the competition window. I'm not sure how much divers can control the timing. I did want Yang Jian to walk away from Tokyo with the gold medal. He has the ability, but it was just so close that day. He was pissed the f*** off. Yang Jian faces a particular disadvantage regarding what might be termed rapport with the judges because dives for 07B, 5156B, and 109B are rarely seen in international competition. I haven't paid close attention to this. I will say Yang Jian has gotten the full 123 points on his 4.1109B dive before internationally. Does the selection trials only approach automatically equate to fairness? Is it truly fair to dismiss every other factor based solely on the results of a few competitions? That is merely your definition of fairness. Simply because Cao Yuan hails from Beijing, some users here completely lost their cool, making all sorts of comments like, Yang Jian and Chen Eisen don't have that specific residency status, or can't touch Beijing. Only 2 members of the Beijing team are competing this time around. Let me explain the zip code/household registration thing in China. So when you're born, you're assigned a zip code that corresponds to your area. What's different about it from the US is if you move out of your rural town and go into the big city, you still have the same zip code and it's very hard to change. Beijing and Shanghai are tier 1 cities whose zip codes grant you more privileges in many aspects. I'm not very knowledgeable on this, so take this with a grain of salt. There are many comments saying Cao Yuan got selected because of his zip code. I don't see it personally. There will also be comments later saying he has a special relationship with Zhou Jihong. That may be true, but I don't think it affects the selection process too much. Cao Yuan won this competition fair and square. Yeah, I've seen quite a few people practically begging for a handout. I don't think Cao Yuan himself did anything wrong. The coaching staff picked him and he delivered. There's nothing else he was supposed to do. It's just circumstance. A question about Yang Jian's Group 5 dive. Many people only know of Guo Jingjing's unbeatable dominance in later years. I'm afraid they've never heard of the time she failed a dive back in the day. For these Olympics, there are 4 men's and 4 women's diving events, and each is permitted to field a squad of 5 athletes. Again, this is incorrect. I don't know where they're getting this from. I also can't find anything on if the Chinese diving team specifically had some internal decision on limiting the number of divers they're sending. He has the chops to win 3 golds across 3 Olympics, still gets slammed as a beneficiary of nepotism. Mind-boggling. It's unfair that Yang Jian missed out on the gold medal despite delivering a flawless dive, simply because the judges' scores were too low. I'm not an expert, so I can't tell if Yang Jian's final dive was scored fairly. He himself seemed confused after the score was announced. These are all the reasons why Cao Yuan was selected for the Olympics. There isn't anything more to this from what I've seen. Cao Yuan did end up winning 10 meter by 2 points. He and Chen Eisen lost the 10 meter synchro to Tom Daley and Matty Lee by 1 point. The men's 10 meter events all had incredibly close scores between first and second. Shi Tingmao was in Tokyo 2020. Forgot. I consider her a veteran. It feels weird because this is the only event where a generation definitively ended in Tokyo. Every other event in Paris generally had the same people as Tokyo for Team China. The 2 longest threads we looked at were posted after the Olympics. The next 2 posts we'll look at are from before the Olympics. Here are people's reactions when the roster dropped. Diving roster is rather strange. Lian Junjae got dropped. Comments underneath this post. Hasn't Cao Yuan not competed in individual 10-meter for a long time? Why squeeze out Lian Junjae? Any fans know the situation? All day that's strange. Y'all are more familiar with athletes than the coaches. Yes, we're more familiar than the coaches. Never thought Cao Yuan could even do 2 events. I don't believe there isn't anything shady going on here. No Yang Hao, so handsome. It's a shame with Yang Hao. What results did Cao Yuan have in the trials? And has he had any results these 2 years on 10-meter? Women's team unexpectedly can use Chuan Hongchan. Men's team is still using Cao Yuan. Chen Eisen in the individual event is more acceptable. By the way, I don't like it when some people use the word use when talking about athletes. Chen only has pairs, no individual. Lian Junjae, Yang Hao got squeezed out by springboard Cao Yuan. Yes, more accurately Lian Junjae got squeezed out. Yang Hao hasn't competed in some time. Heard he gave up. Yang went back to the provincial team. Doesn't count. It's mainly Lian. By the way, what's 10 meters little sister Chuan's background? Ranked first in 2 out of 3 trials, born in '07, has the ability to score 440 plus. Genius girl. Auntie Cao Royal zip code. Beijing zip code. Cao Yuan going is very normal, recovered from injury. To be frank, Cao Yuan's individual event might not even be better than Chen. Cao Yuan won gold in Rio in springboard. This time he even gave up the springboard and returned to platform. Suppose this can be recorded into diving history. Yes, so don't say he got it due to connections. He was able to hold his own on 3-meter in Rio, and 2 is an MVP in the diving team. Now 3-meter choose to out of 3, 10-meter choose to out of 3. He worked hard training for 2 events to not be selected. Seek out your conscience and you couldn't live. Sen Pig no individual event. He hasn't been in good condition for a while. Injury. Cao Yuan competing in pairs is enough already. Doing individual too. Beijing team doesn't spit out bones eating people. Cao Yuan's really a tool human. 10-meter 3-meter swapping back and forth. Looking at it this way, he's more like New Sun. I thought Lian Junjae got the individual event on lock. Can't accept it. No logic. Beijing zip code useful. Sen Pig no individual event anymore. He's not even competing in the individual event in the World Championships anymore. Didn't Auntie Cao Yuan go to 3-meter? Why is he back at 10-meter? In 2019 Auntie Cao Yuan already went back. He competed in both the springboard and platform synchro events in the World Championships. Beast. Lin Yue from before is also Beijing's. With Yang Jian it feels like his performance is unstable in big competitions, even though he has high difficulty. When Xiao Bo was still competing, he was overshadowed by him in international competitions. Then Chen Eisen came and he didn't get to go to Rio. He finally has an individual spot in Tokyo. Hope he performs according to his abilities. Lian has no difficulty. Getting dropped is too expected. He needs other people to miss to have a chance at gold. No leverage at all. Cao Yuan's 550 to 570. Usually 570 is gold territory. Of course him getting the individual spot is pretty absurd. Actually Auntie Kini from Australia on 3-meter also didn't get selected. After all there's the 3 for DD 5154 and 3.5 DD 307C. If she goes to Tokyo and executes these high difficulty dives well, there's a chance for things to be mixed up. Auntie Kini counts as a breakthrough for women's. Surprisingly didn't get chosen. Yeah, didn't meet the standard in trials. No fate with Tokyo. Auntie Kini surprisingly failed to be selected. Hasn't Ren Qian muddled around for a while? She already can't break top 3 nationally. The generational turnover for women's 10-meter is too fast. In 2016 Ren Qian wins golden shot. 2 years haven't passed yet and there's already someone new. Now I don't know the current to anymore again. Yes, it's a pipeline event. The bunch can change over in 2 years. A lot of women's 10-meter can't clear the development phase. Once you start, if you don't switch to 3-meter, you'll turn into a stranger. So Chen Ruolin really is too amazing. Competed in individual 10-meter in 2 Olympics, synchro in 3 Olympics, 5 golds obtained. New post. Tokyo Olympics diving team China roster released. Lian Junjae, who took home 1 gold and 2 silver medals at the trials, was regrettably left off the team roster. I'm questioning if FINA made a mistake. Did Cao Yuan even compete in the trials? In any case, I didn't see him in the top 3, and hasn't he not been competing in the individual 10-meter platform event for the past few years? Here are some comments under the post. Does Zhou Jihong not like hot dudes? Did Auntie Sao Yuan use backdoor connections to get to spots? Didn't Lian Junjae achieve 4.1? He didn't get selected? Also thought Auntie Jiang Jia could take this year's 10-meter individual. Didn't think she'd end up having to settle for synchro. Why focus on her? The focus should be on Chen Yuxi since her performance was outstanding in the World Championships. Can't believe an even more impressive little girl popped out in the trials. I know Chen Yuxi women's individual platform. What's the background of the other one? How old is she? Can someone do an introduction? Just another genius girl. Chuan Hongchan appeared late last year in the championships. 14 years old, has gotten for 140 plus in the championships before. Age 14 genius girl first place in the trials. 1-2 out of 3 stops. Genius girl, 07er, 2-time gold in the trials, has the skill to dive for 140 plus points. Black screen. Indeed don't get Sao. Never thought 10-meter individual was possible. Maybe Lian Junjae got hurt, or there's concerns about the risk of Yang Jian and Lian Junjae making mistakes at the same time, so they brought Sao Yuan. Key point is Sao Yuan can only get 550 points max, pretty much no chance of winning gold. Lian isn't injured. It could be that he was able to get to 580. The coaching staff doesn't send random divers, since the diving gold medal's responsibility is heavy. Aunt Jihong can sweep it with her eyes closed. We can put down 130 hearts. Sao Yuan's competed in all 4 events, so slay. Can't believe Sao Yuan's on platform in the end. Is it because sweeping 8 golds doesn't reflect well on our character, so they purposefully left the individual men's platform for another country to win? That's obviously ridiculous. If it's like this, then just let Yang Jian take it. If that's the case, it would be synchro. The weight of gold for individuals is fuller. They won't leave any for the Olympics. Sweeping 8 golds has always been Jihong's goal. Why Sao Yuan back on platform? COVID's fault. Last year's plan was springboard and platform dual training for Sao Yuan. Aside from the 2 men's springboard events and men's synchronized platform in the World Championships, who knows, this year he got squeezed out of men's springboard, switched focus to platform. Sao is Zhou's heart and stomach. Sao Yuan doing individual 10 meters seems like the only surprise. At least Wang Zongyuan didn't get squeezed out of individual 3 meter, thank God. More like it's a shame with Yang Hao, only behind Yang Jian, and so handsome, won't be able to see him not wear clothes in Tokyo. Yang Hao can't even score 500 points in the trials. Sao Yuan can go, why can't Eisen go? Are there handsome guys? Chen Eisen's out of men individuals so fast? Shame. Sao Yuan this stock that got shoved in forcefully, just relying on experience from the last Olympics. Yeah, those who are disagreeable and start chewing out Sao Yuan right away. Why not wait until after the Olympics is over to chew him out? If it's not Lian Junjae, it should at least be Chen Eisen, afraid of a mistake with Lian Junjae's 4.1. Then if Sao Yuan makes a mistake, he might not even make it to finals. When that happens, Yang Jian's mindset explodes again. Afraid princess is going to pick leftovers. If you search these 3 words, berate Sao Yuan on Baidu.com, there are a bunch of results. He was receiving lashings left and right. Mans is possibly top 3 most hated athletes in China for winning too much. Another post. I'll cut out some repeat comments from here on out. Zip code royalty. Sao Yuan caused Lian Junjae to miss out on the Olympics. At least Sao Yuan has the experience of his teammate dropping to death and holding on to get the individual gold. This is talking about Rio 2016, when the other Chinese diver in 3 meter was eliminated in prelims. Yang Jian's the seizure type. Nothing to say about letting Sao Yuan go. There's one stop where Lian Junjae and Yang Jian both self-destructed. Number 1 was Sao Yuan. Lian Junjae's relying on 1 dive to boost his score. Now it's 1 going for high scores, 1 going for a guaranteed score. It's more reliable than 2 people going for high scores. This is a good way to describe things. Sao Yuan's biggest problem is he's not good looking. Can't attract a bunch of wild chickens hoisting up a keyboard cuckoo day. Sao Yuan looked good as a kid. Sao's clearly better looking than Chen. Chen's both ugly and tasteless. Chen Eisen catching strays. Junjae so handsome, so vanilla. Leans too monkey-like. I'd rather watch Auntie Sao's big titties. Okay. As expected, unstable synchro, foreshadow. Sao Yuan's actually not from Beijing, only his zip code's Beijing. If Lian Junjae can do both 207B and 5 to 55B, synchro, and individuals all his. A Hunan T account said Cao Yuan's from Changsha. Last post. Cao Yuan. I'd love to see just how exceptional he is on 10-meter individual. According to the national trials, the ranking for individuals is Yang Jian, Lian Junjie, Chen Eisen top 3, and synchro pair is Yang Jian Chen Eisen. Turns out Cao Yuan has 2 events on the Olympic roster. Not only was the Yang Jian Chen Eisen pairing broken up, he also got the individual spot. Assessing the performance in the trials, if anyone's competing 2 events, it should be Yang Jian. He even squeezed out Lian Junjie. Reckon Lian Junjie's about to shut down. If Junjie switches to a different country, truly don't blame him. Switch to GB. The distance to Paris remains. If they still don't pick him for individuals in 2028, pack it up and emigrate at that point, or compete as a neutral athlete if that's possible. Seriously. Congratulations in advance to Auntie Zhou throwing away to platform golds. Don't. Yang Jian winning. Cao Yuan missing finals is okay. Don't have Yang Jian win. Poor guy. You'll have to ask Auntie Zhou about that. Auntie Zhou was also stunned by the power of the Beijing zip code. Zhou chicken death. This woman's on it. Why's she not retired yet? I do wonder what Team China would look like after she retires. Really not trying to pick on Cao Yuan. I just truly feel like he's the last choice for this. Speechless. Yes. Mainly it's just absurd he can compete in 2 events. Really SOS. It's unacceptable for the public. Auntie Zhou saying, it's none of your business. This woman's proactively handing out pork raw. Is it hard to understand Beijing privilege? When the roster came out, I always thought they made a mistake. It's actually real. Support Zheng Boheng and Lian Junjie migrating. Lian Junjie's safe next season. Why freak out? Strongly agree with OP. Really can't understand. If there's no conspiracy, it's unexplainable. Champion. Gold medal ability. Demolished. Can't say he didn't slay. What to say, since he won, the decision was correct. This is everything I looked at. I didn't search too deep because I don't want to know what Lian Junjie's doing right now. I just don't even want to know if he quit. My final thoughts on this are Lian Junjie definitely got robbed for Tokyo 2020, and it's ridiculous. Cao Yuan ended up winning over Yang Jian. I remember even the Chinese commentators were stunned. They were like, the winner is Cao Yuan. It's Cao Yuan. Oh. After this Olympics ended, I looked forward to seeing Lian Junjie in Paris 2024. See what happened there in the next video.